Hey guys, it's Danny, and I'm so excited we're here for day number 1 of the Food Styling Challenge. Let me know if you're here. Let me know if you can hear me. We're going to go ahead and jump right on into this. Today we are starting with clear soups. This is one of the items that I get a lot of questions on, and so I thought we'd just jump in and get going here. So I'm going to change our cameras so you can see what I'm working on. All right. There we go. Okay, so we are working with a clear soup. This is just chicken noodle soup. So I wanted to do this just to kind of show you the basics here of what we're working with, whether you're doing this for a restaurant or whether you're doing this for your own blog or anything like that. The same principles apply. This is definitely a little bit more in-depth for more of like a commercial shoot, but the same principles work. So the first thing to do is you want to separate out your solids from your liquids. You're going to use a strainer for that. You're going to want to wash that to where it doesn't have any of the excess fat on there. It doesn't have any of the excess herbs on there. You just want to be able to kind of pick through here and get the individual noodles, the individual vegetables. And depending on how overcooked this is, what the condition is here, will depend on whether you need to add anything else. Some of the times we find that it's just very mushy, it's overcooked, and so we'll end up just making some very similar looking vegetables and just blanching them really quickly in hot water. So once you have that kind of separated there, you want to take a look at your liquid and see whether it's usable or not. This one looks pretty good. It's pretty heavy on the fat. So if you run into this situation where you get in here and you're getting a lot of fat globules kind of stuck to your soup, especially with commercial soups like this, you can kind of faux out the liquid here. And to do that, you're going to use some chicken stock, and then you're either going to just kind of color it a little bit with kitchen bouquet, or you can use something like marinara, you can use ketchup, anything to just kind of whisk in there and give it a little bit of color. If you're going for something that's this yellow, you can also add a little bit of yellow food coloring if you can't use the actual liquid there. So that's kind of the basics there. And then what we want to start with next is we're going to start layering in our soup. So to do that for a clear soup, we want to get the ingredients up higher. Otherwise, they're just going to kind of sink into the bottom of your soup bowl, and you're not going to be able to see anything. So depending on the depth of your soup bowl, you can use things like clear ice cubes. These are kind of tall for this bowl, but if you have some of the deeper bowls, you can kind of layer these on top of there. You can also use things like glass marbles. Those also work, but my favorite thing to use is actually just potato. So these are just chopped up little bits of potato, and we just kind of layer them through here. And the nice thing about these is that you can come in with a toothpick, and these are just kind of split in half, and just pick that off like that, and then kind of pick through here and find the pieces that you're wanting to really feature, and just kind of shish kebab them. I don't know if you can see that, but just kind of shove that on the bottom, and then you're going to just push that right into that potato. And sometimes they'll poke through the top, so you just have to kind of work with it and wiggle it around until you get it where you're pretty happy with it. And so you're just going to kind of layer that through there. You can do this with noodles. You want to make sure you don't like completely puncture all the way through the noodle. So in that case, I'll usually start kind of in the potato, more like that, to where you can really shove it in there without just causing your noodle to fall apart. So something kind of like that. And then you can set that down in there and just kind of start playing with that. Eventually you will want to just kind of add in some around there, but then as you find like your hero pieces, you can kind of tuck them in there with another potato like that. So that's kind of the basics there. And then you want to add in your liquid. Having bowls like this is really helpful to where you have an actual pour spout. These are KitchenAid bowls, but anything that has a pour spout, whether it's just a measuring cup or these nice big bowls. I do love this set because they have even a larger one that we put all the soups into, and you can really pour a lot of liquid out of there versus a smaller cup. And then we're just going to kind of layer in here along that. When you are working with clear soups, I do love these wider kind of pasta bowls. It's a lot easier to style. You can see that you're already seeing a lot of those noodles popping up, and you can sometimes not even have to do the potato trick and just kind of stack into there. If you have to style into a much deeper bowl for the client, you're going to have to build it up quite a bit more in there with more potato. You can use bigger potato wedges too. Just anything to really get you that height with the transparency. Now this broth is pretty thick, so you could get away with quite a bit on this. If you get into more clear broth, you will have to kind of get in there and hide a little bit more in depth there. And then after that, I mean, you can really get as fancy as you want here, but kind of our go-to is just a pinch of coarse black pepper, just like that, and some coarse salt. And then if the client wants, you know, pinches of parsley or any kind of color on there, that is also always an option. And then we're kind of missing out here on the celery, so what I would do is just kind of get in there and make sure we've got some of that kind of poking into some of those. And again, you're going to run into this with some of the vegetables. You see that it just slides right through. So you have to kind of play with it. You can use it almost underneath it as a like a little boat support almost, to where it's still going to lift up even if you're not actually making it into an actual potato wedge down there. So that is the basics there, guys. Once you're done with that and you've got your soup, definitely, you know, bring in some bread, bring in a nice little salad bowl, clear out all your toothpicks, and you're ready to shoot there. You can get in a little bit more fine detail if you've got like rogue, you know, peppers kind of coming in there. But that is really the basics for clear soups. They can feel kind of intimidating, but really once you get the potato trick down, they're really not that complicated, and you can get in and really have a really great looking soup there without too much effort. I hope that was helpful. I will see you guys here tomorrow. We will be starting day number 2, and I can't wait to see you.